addressing the country, what was your expectation?
Maybe he would speak something in regards to the curfew and something in regards, because Kenyans have been crying.
No, if President Uhuru Kenyatta will come that way to tell us nothing, it's better stop to come to address Kenyans.
Sure.
When a president comes to address the nation, he should tell the poor Kenyans, at this time of COVID-19, what his government has decided to do to people.
Fellow
That's what he was
Kenyans.
supposed to do. He would have said, oh, we have decided to do this, even we have decided to supply free masks.
Anyway, why is mask a very, it looks like very little. Like it's the little the government can do, you know.
How much does it cost, this one? 50 pop. So
50, 30, it
how
depends.
many Kenyans can afford that? Do you know there are Kenyans who cannot even afford 50 shillings for food, leave alone a mask?
I know.
There are so many Kenyans. So we are talking about those poor Kenyans. When I'm talking about those poor Kenyans. I saw a video somewhere whereby I saw people wearing panties as a mask. Because they have to, because the government has told you if you don't have a mask, we will jail you or fine you 20,000. So what are you supposed to do? Don't have a mask? They took their panties and they put it on as a mask. And the government's looking.
Okay, I hear you. So what is your next step? You as an activist, what are you looking forward to do for the...
It's just to hold the government accountable.
You just make noise like every other person? Or is there an action you're taking? You personally, is there an action you're taking, or you're just holding
Even talking this way is an action.
Yes, apart from
There's
talking.
nothing I can do because I don't run the government. But I can tell you, the government, that our expectations as people is to do this. And you must do, because you don't have excuse. That's our responsibility. I have no capacity to buy masks for people, but the government has. But what's their priority? And remember, we are in this situation because of them, because of the government. Because they allowed flights to continue coming in. You remember the Chinese flight that came in?
Yeah, sure.
What did the government say? Even they fired the guy who was a whistleblower. They wanted to fire a guy, they just arranged that guy. Yeah. So the government put Kenyans in this situation.
Yeah. For example, we are hoping, if somebody was saying, if the first 2 weeks, like the first time they realized there's COVID in Kenya and there's a confirmation, if we would have taken 2 weeks break, proper lockdown, then today we would not be in this situation that we are in. Anyway, we are witnessing so many cases each day, like 9 cases, 16 cases, tomorrow 12 cases. It's really, it doesn't, we are not sure if we're going down.
But I'm telling you, the cases
we are
could be more.
managing the situation. But if we go to the mass testing, I'm sure we will have thousands.
Yes.
So how will the government deal with thousands of people if the little they have to go and quarantine them, still people have complaints? Because you can quarantine me, but if I'm not comfortable, it feels like it's a punishment.
But let me tell you, God loves Kenya and God loves Africa.
Amen.
Because we don't have a capacity to deal with this situation. We don't have hospitals. We don't have enough doctors. We don't have enough isolation or quarantine facilities to contain this situation. It is God actually was decided to have mercy on us. This is
Don't be so quick to come into a conclusion, because you don't know what next month will bring. You don't know what next week will bring. We are not certain.
I'm saying we have to continue praying. Because
our churches are closed.
So let me tell you, because if this situation continues to escalate and it becomes worse, you and me, we will be affected. And the good thing about this thing does not discriminate. This thing does not know a politician. We have seen there are some world leaders who contracted this disease. So all of us will be affected. So let us just hope the situation will get better, not worse. If it gets worse, it will be chaos. I'm telling you.
We are living in the world of hope where we can't trust our government anymore.
It's because of the actions of the government. But we hope one day we will have a government that will put people first.
So just to take you back, apart from the government supplying masks, what else do you think the government would have done?
Just to caution people means that it has to come with a way, even paying rent for people who cannot afford, giving money to people to buy food.
But you know, Kenya...
And the government must have a structure, must have a way to do that.
You cannot compare Kenya to Canada. You know, Kenya, we are a...
What's the difference of Kenya and Canada? Tell me, what's the difference?
Country. We are
Why do you think?
Yes.
It is impossible for us, Kenya, to get somewhere better. Do you think it's possible?
Compare Kenya in East Africa. We're far much ahead. We can get better. We'll get better with time. We can do better.
Saying that we want to be like Canada.
Remember,
I'm saying we can do better than what we are doing right now.
Remember, Sam, before COVID, we were still a struggling nation. Before COVID, companies have been slashing people. You hear 200 people have been sacked. It's not that we can just not sit back and say COVID has made a lot of people, of course, have lost work because of COVID. But also before, a lot of people lost work because the economy was totally bad. And clearly we don't have that money. If we had, I know it will be, as much as we have corruption, it will be the government's pride to take care of all of our needs, but it's trying its best to do. So I don't feel the way you are addressing this issue, like the government just needs to give money and buy masks. Of course it needs to do it, but do you know there's a procedure, there's a plan? What if we buy masks today and tomorrow we get a hunger strike? We've spent all our money on masks.
The government always has an emergency fund. Emergency fund is for disasters. A disaster like this one. Any government has that. Any government plans for unexpected.
But this is the government came out clearly during one of their first press briefing or media briefing. They were saying they are rolling out their first emergency action, and they cannot just throw everything they have in one basket because they don't know what tomorrow is. So they are working in phases. In phases? Yes.
How long has it taken to do so?
We need to ask them, but that's their approach to COVID. They say they cannot just shut everything.
According to you now, you mean you are satisfied with the way the government has responded to this situation?
I am crying. Honestly, I am crying. I'm not protected. Even the curfew, as much as, trust me, walk on this road at 7, 8, people will still be walking. Vehicles will still be passing. As much as there's curfew, it's not restricted that much. I feel like Kenya is for you, so what are we going to do?
Now, the question now you're asking is what me and you...
No. We need to understand that change doesn't come in a day. The moment change came in a day in Kenya, the moment they put curfew and beat up people, there was cries everywhere. Simply because it was something that happened all of a sudden. The moment they say we are having a partial lockdown, Nairobi, Mombasa, these cities are going to be closed. Actually, Nairobi was that day from 5, no, from 7. You saw what happened. People were traveling away, like they're going to their home areas. They had to be caught on the roadblocks and be told you sleep here. Matatus did not work that evening because they were fearing now there's a lockdown. Where will I go? I don't stay in Nairobi. So the moment you put down change without any consideration of what will happen next, people will suffer.
The change we are talking about is when Kenya will have a leader at the top.
You mean we don't have a leader?
No,
what are you trying to say?
I'm saying we have a leader who is insensitive to what's happening to Kenyans. And I'm telling you, but it will come a time when Kenya will have a leader who is at the top and who will serve Kenyans, not cartels, not people who are controlling the system. A leader who will fear nobody but God and who will serve Kenyans one day, and that leader will come.
Let's wrap up. Say your last words.
What I'm saying is that
Not your last words, like
what I'm saying is that as a nation, as people of Kenya, we need to come up together and champion for the good leadership in this country. Leadership that will serve the people of Kenya. Leadership that will serve the poor, not the few, not cartels, but the poor Kenyans.
But it's just to finish, as much as we're finishing up, the only thing, the one main thing that is eating Kenyans is politics. The moment we have an election, the moment we have rallies, the moment whatever, resources are being used. And the year next, we are down. And this last year was a very bad year. This year we had started picking up, and now we are down again. Come 2022, again, we are slashed. There is no Kenyan who's going to get back on their feet fully. So you'd rather learn how to work in a crisis or be there and sympathize with yourself. Bye.
Thank you.